You know what I really love? Learning about cool things going on in our community for the first time. And this week, I get to do that. This is one of those organizations that I recently learned about, and I am very excited for you to hear about. It's called Washington County Foster Closet. The organization is run by Dautermann and Shannon Siebert. And on this week's episode, Shannon joins me to talk about the organization and its importance to children and families within our local community. I was truly moved by our conversation, and I'm sure you will be too. For those who don't know, what is the Washington County Foster Closet, and kind of give us an overview of the organization and how it helps our area children and families.
So the Washington County Foster Closet is an organization that supplies gently used clothing, baby things, car seats, gift cards for certain items to children that enter foster care. And the reason why we started is because us as foster parents know what it's like to get a call to receive a placement and then have them come with next to nothing.
Right.
Instead of getting that call and getting that kiddo and then scrounging to get things together and you're running around, we're here to kind of get you started so that you can focus on the emotional, physical, mental needs of the child.
Absolutely. Children come in all shapes and sizes and ages and genders and such, and you can never be prepared as yourself, as a foster parent or family, for that whole range.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, a lot of us obviously keep things on hand, but yeah, I mean, you never know.
Tell us a little bit about the team that you've got at Washington County Foster Closet, what you do there, who the other people are involved. Like, what does your team look like?
It's myself and Dautermann. We are pretty much a two-man show right now. I think as we've evolved, it's gotten a lot bigger than maybe all of us were prepared to take on.
Sure.
So what do we do? I think the question is, what don't we do? It's been a little hard to decide our major roles because this summer has been nothing but getting our building situated and organized and really ready to serve the county. But I would say COA is in charge of donations.
Okay.
So if you want to donate something, you would contact her. If you are a foster parent or a social worker and you have needs that need to be filled, you would contact COA.
Okay.
She has also taken charge of our Christmas event where people sponsor kids to make sure that all of our kids have a nice Christmas.
Great.
And this summer she took on our backpack drive to make sure that all the kids had new backpacks and all the school supplies for the school year. So shout out to COA. She is amazing. She's a single mom. She is a teacher, and when she's not doing that, she's doing this, and she does a great job.
Yeah. Well, I've seen from first hearing about Washington County Foster Closet, and maybe it's kind of like when you are looking at a car and you see that same car everywhere, but from the first moment that I heard about it, now I see you guys everywhere.
Well, that is really good to hear. That's awesome.
And I've been hearing about it on social media, and I went to the gym the other day and at Anytime Fitness, and I saw that there's a donation box there, and you were looking for athletic gear for foster kids in foster care.
Mostly teens, I believe. Yes.
Yeah. So
yeah, that seems to be. I thought that I had a pretty good idea of what cool kids wore. Turns out I'm a lot older than I realized, and I really don't know what kids like. But it comes to be that athletic, sporty type clothes is.
That's what. Yeah, that's what what. Yeah, I have a 17-year-old, and so I know I know how it goes.
I know. I took my daughter shopping, and I get her all this stuff, and she just looks at me like, "What? What are you thinking?" I don't know. I've turned into my mother.
Yeah. So. Yep. No, I know exactly how that goes, and luckily, my wife gets to have that piece because I don't buy the clothes. So, but we do have a number of things that we did buy that are gently used, and we will be donating those. So
wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. What drove you personally to get involved with this cause?
Well, I've been known to be a bit impulsive. Those that know me are probably laughing at this. Sometimes hasn't been so good, and other times it's been really great. And what happened was a friend of mine shared a news story with me about a similar organization down in Kenosha. Mm-hmm. And she's like, hey, you should do this. And I barely gave it a second thought. And I said, yep, I will. And I reached out to our private county page. It's just a private Facebook page for all of us foster parents that are licensed in Washington County. Mm-hmm. And I said, hey, this is what I want to do. Does anybody want to hop aboard? And entered COA. So we started in my basement, and then we kind of divided up amongst other basements, and then we had storage units, and now we are here in our own building, and we have heat and a bathroom and lights and so much more space, and it's truly amazing. But the biggest thing for me was, we take in these kids. And when I started, I was a fairly new foster parent as well, so I was still kind of learning the ropes. But you get a call, and a half hour later, your doorbell rings, and you just don't really know what to expect, only to find out that they don't have anything.
Right.
And my husband travels for work, and oddly enough, every placement that we have received, with the exception of one, he's been out of town for. We had a situation where he was out of town. We had a little boy. We got a call to take in a sibling group of 3. And 45 minutes later, my doorbell rang, and in walked in these 3 kiddos, mm-hmm. and they had nothing. And my husband was out of town, and I'm on the phone. I'm calling my parents and my in-laws and my friends. And I mean, thankfully, everybody kind of came to my rescue, but that's not always the case.
Right.
And so what I tell people, for me personally, the best part about the foster closet is not only just knowing that we can help these families, but also the relationships that I've built while doing it. Prior to the Washington County Foster Closet, I didn't know any other foster parents. And even though my husband and I have a great support system, sometimes you can feel very alone.
Sure.
Because there's things that unless you're doing it and you're living it every day, you just don't quite understand. So for me, it's getting to know other foster families, sharing our stories, sharing our struggles, and really having that sense of community.
You were struggling as a foster parent to connect with other foster families in the area. Those who aren't probably don't see it at all. And so how great is the need for foster families in our county? What does that look like?
It's very, very high. It fluctuates typically, and I'm sure be corrected if I'm wrong, so I do apologize. Typically, the beginning of the school year and the end of the school year are usually like the busiest times when a lot of calls are coming in.
Sure.
Because kids are around teachers and other professionals, other mandated reporters. Mm-hmm. We could have a lull where maybe we do have a couple open homes, but then in a matter of 2 weeks, we'll have every home that's full. Sure. So the need is very high, especially coming off of the coronavirus and all the havoc, mm-hmm. that brought. We are sadly expecting to get pretty busy over these next couple months, but the need is high. The thing with being a foster parent, which is great, is that you really can kind of pick and choose who you want to care for. Mm-hmm. So we have some foster parents that are like, I'm only doing ages 3 and under, or they have other children in the home, so they're only open to 1, or some are open to multiple. So mm-hmm. I will say for certain that the need for taking in teens is extremely high. As far as I know, it's my family and I think one other home in the entire county that's open to taking teens.
Okay.
We have a lot of people that are no longer taking toddlers, so we need homes to take toddlers. And then the other biggest need for sure is homes willing to take in sibling groups.
Okay.
Because what happens is they'll get split up.
Yeah.
They get moved to other counties. We never, ever, ever want that to happen if we can help it.
You couldn't imagine that happening to you. And it's very eye-opening because it's not something that a lot of families who aren't foster families think of all the time. So.
Exactly. I had no idea. My husband and I became foster parents. We saw like a commercial for it. And I kind of thought about it and I'm like, maybe we should do that. I was adopted myself. So, I have a little bit of personal experience with that. But, we had a big house and we had a lot of love to give. We love kids. We're great with kids. And we thought, why not? But it wasn't until really getting into the licensing, that we realized how dire it was.
Sure.
I mean, we got a call to take our first placement before our license was even finished yet.
Wow.
The need is so high. And yeah, like you said, it's just so easy to just kind of not think about it.
If somebody wanted to start, where would they start?
Well, there's lots of different options. So we are licensed through Washington County. My husband and I don't live in Washington County anymore, but we're still licensed, but we were living in West Bend at the time. I just reached out to the local human services department and they mailed me some paperwork. And that's kind of how we started. But there's different organizations that you can foster through. St. A's, foundations, Children's Hospital, they all do foster care. We just chose to work with children in our county.
Thank you for doing that. It's very important. And
yeah, I could talk about this all day.
I'm certain you could. And again, it goes back to showing the passion that I have seen on social media, and I've heard from people who have talked about it, of what you and COA have at the Washington County Foster Closet. What do you need right now? What's a need that you guys have?
A vacation. I would say our biggest need right now, honestly, is volunteers, particularly maybe one or two people that share the passion that COA and I have to really kind of be a part of our team, like that want to take part in like the ins and the outs of kind of what we do every day. We're busy.
I bet.
Also, volunteers needed for special events. I'm kind of in charge of fundraising and recruiting volunteers. So once the building is officially done, then I can kind of focus on my main goals. We need volunteers for our grand opening. There is a Sign Up Genius link on our social media.
They just search Washington County Foster Closet? Is that how they find it? Okay.
Yep. Everybody in the community has been so great with getting us the things that we need. And as far as our inventory goes, we are doing great. We have just about all that we need. Monetary donations are the biggest thing right now. We need gift cards because we don't store things like undergarments or shoes.
Yeah.
Walmart and Kohl's are pretty much the gift cards that we carry.
Okay.
So like a teen comes into care, has no shoes, they get a Kohl's gift card, they can go get themselves a pair of shoes.
Awesome. An
infant comes into care, we will give them a Walmart gift card to get diapers and formula until they can get their WIC benefits set up.
Gotcha.
Those are huge things. Other things that we do, if the funds are available, is provide outings and gatherings for our fellow foster families, because as COA and I know, it's just so important to have people that understand what you're going through. I mean, our motto, what we say almost daily is, it takes a village. And I believe that through and through. We want to have adult-friendly outings where foster parents can breathe a little.
Yeah,
and
a little bit of that vacation that you were talking about. Just,
right, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then kid-friendly things, breakfast with Santa, things like that. Eventually, we would like to get to the point where we could have speakers come in for educational things. Like, we have to have so many hours of trainings within a 2-year licensing period. So we would like to be able to cater to some of those things. And actually, the newest thing that we are now going to be working on, it was just brought to our attention today, in fact, that we have quite a few kids in out-of-state care.
Okay.
That could be a whole nother podcast, but sure. It was something that I was not even aware of, and it's heartbreaking, the things that I heard. So we are, in the next week or so, going to be posting, looking for families to sponsor these children that don't get any state help whatsoever. Not only are they out of state, but there's, very little family support, and really, really could use our help.
Okay, certainly. And again, you'll post a lot of information on social media, on Facebook. Is it a page or a group?
Well, we have both.
Okay.
I know it's really, really confusing. I started by making a Facebook group. Our group is what has the most members in it.
Okay.
But we, a couple months ago, started a page. So we're trying to get people to hop over to the page, but we check and post on both. And we also are in the midst of getting our website up and running as well. So hopefully that will be out for everybody to check out too in the next couple weeks.
Very good. Well, check out Washington County Foster Closet on Facebook, on the page preferably. And Shannon, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for all that you do for kids in our county and the families who support those kids. It's a very important resource, and we should all be proud that we have an organization like you that's helping people out, and also the foster families like you and others in our area that are helping children who need your help.
Yes, thank you.
We'll talk again soon.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you so much for listening to 15 Minutes with Fuzz. I want to be sure our entire county is well represented, not just the things that are in my immediate area. I want to be able to branch out and see the things that I don't see every day. So if you know of something going on that's great in Hartford or Richfield or Germantown or Eustisford. Is Eustisford in Washington County or Dodge County? It's on the edge. But if you know something great going on there, that's fine, even if it's not in Washington County. Let me know. Ashippun, is that Washington County? Let me know. Not if Ashippun's in Washington County, just if there's something great going on there. Send me an email, 15withfuzz@gmail.com. That's 15, F-I-F-T-E-E-N, spelled out, withfuzz@gmail.com. Or visit 15withfuzz.com. New episodes every Monday. Be sure to like and subscribe. Leave a comment positively on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and or Google Podcasts. And we'll talk to you next week on 15 Minutes with Fuzz.